When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
Yo, what is up, everybody? 8 bells and all is well. I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to Shanth Enjeti Art. My name is Shanth Enjeti, coming to you live from the heart of Lovecraft country in the birthplace of American religious liberty. I'm going to be doing some sketches tonight. I want to catch you guys up on just a wild couple of weeks. What's up? Let me say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. Hang on a second here. Hang on, folks. We're getting it. We're getting it done. I have not streamed in a week, and man, I have felt it. What's up, Emo Trash? How are you doing? I'm doing well, man. Absolutely enjoying. I got a little bit of a vacation. Vacation. I got a break, and I'm going to tell you guys about that. A little night away to a cool historic town. What's up, Bruce Campbell's Chin? Hail to you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. A man called Plush. It's always good to see you, brother. It's so funny because, I don't know, I was thinking about it, and I forget what stream I was in. And I forget whose stream it was in. Honestly, guys, I don't know whether to scratch my watch or wind my behind, as they say. But I was in somebody's stream, and one of the names in the chat that I see all the time, but it just reminded me of a stream that from 2019 that's a particular Comicsgate favorite of mine, and I just went, oh my god, like that many years has passed, and you see people who hang around, new people come in and become regulars. It's awesome. What's up, Darth Gutierrez? It's good to see you, my friend. I hope you are well. A moral fat 40 ounce. How are you doing, brother? Let me see if I miss anybody else. JWK Creates, who dropped a tender morsel of something. He said, I've been to Dark Universe at Epic Universe, Universal Studios' new theme park, which is the horror one. And he said, I think you will feel like a kid in a candy shop when you go there. Well, that sounds great to me. I would love to have that feeling. So JWK Creates, if you're in the vicinity, do let me know more. I would love to hear more, because I've been very excited about all that stuff. And I just felt like, man, I haven't streamed in forever. I just want to sketch some monsters with you guys. If you guys want to hang out and watch me sketch monsters, you just sit back and enjoy it. It's just going to be chill tonight because, man, I need it. I am absolutely just wiped out, and it's great because I had a really good time. The missus and I took a trip. We'd been talking for a while that we just wanted to do a day trip, kind of spend the night somewhere and just kind of hang out and take in some cool sights. And we had a trip that ended up being a lot cooler than I thought it was going to even be, because, there was, you go to certain places. We have certain family spots we like to go. And one of them is right over the border of Lovecraft country, a little place called Mystic, Connecticut. If any of you guys are 80s kids, you may even know a movie called Mystic Pizza. And Mystic Pizza was, oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I love horror movies, man. I love horror movies. From, the silent film era, when they were just moving pictures and they were really movies, to all the way up to modern stuff, just depending on what it is. And I may have very, I don't know if my tastes are I think I have very particular tastes, but they run everywhere between, highbrow, lowbrow, everywhere, man. It's crazy. Springball's costume being his body is very interesting. I had this idea. What if the Guyver, couldn't remove his armor, and that's just who he was 24/7, or Darkman? 100%. I love that stuff, man. Yeah, absolutely. Tragic body horror hero. Whoa, yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, it's so strange because, I go to these different places, and I'm fortunate to have a lot of places that I can kind of go to and check out, where I live. And I just was sitting here going, we hadn't taken a trip to Mystic, Connecticut in a while. If you've seen again the movie Mystic, Mystic Pizza, it. We always go and get Mystic Pizza when we're there. But it's really great stuff. Yes, Bear Night. I like where your head is at, 100%, man. It's all about lizards, T-Rexes, and of course, gators. As you know, we got lots of gators. What's up, Leg Kick One? How are you doing, brother? It is great to see you guys. Man, I didn't even know if anybody would show up. I was talking to my wife, and I go, the problem with streaming for me sometimes is all this crazy stuff, and I'm gonna get into all this stuff, but I forget to take vacations, or not even vacations. I forget to take breaks, and my wife is always trying to remind me. Mrs. Z is always trying to remind me that hey, you got to take a break. You're gonna burn yourself out, and that's usually how I end up taking a break. And so we decided to take a trip down to Mystic, Connecticut, spend the night, and it was just a great trip. I mean, we had a fantastic time, and yeah, I mean, it was just, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the posture of this character. So for those of you guys who don't know, yeah, I like the Scream franchise. I love the Ghostface character design is great. I recently got the I didn't get the 4K of it. I'm sure there is one, but I recently got the Blu-ray of it, and I've been watching. I still think it's an incredibly smart horror movie. And it's, yeah, I could talk about, there's certain movies I could just talk about because I find them fascinating, but certainly the first Scream is undoubtedly a classic. I saw it in the theater with Mrs. Enjetti. I think we were, I don't know what year that came out, but she was either a senior in college or I was a senior in college. I can't even remember at this point. So, all right, here we go. JWK is dropping some knowledge here. JWK Create says, the theming of the world is just like the concept art, spared no expense, and the Monsters Unleashed ride is like being in a movie. The animatronics are fantastic. Even the queue is so well done. Well, there you go, JWK Creates. Dang, man. He's giving me the hard sell on this, and I'm down for it, man. So, oh my God, Scream came out in 1996, so I would have been maybe a junior, I think, because I didn't start dating Mrs. Enjetti till I was a junior in college, so that's when we started dating. So it must have been right around the time we started dating. I think I remember, I remember for the first birthday she had, we went to go see Star Trek, or the first birthday she had with me, we went to go see Star Trek First Contact in theaters, and I don't know what year that is, but that might help me put together a timeline. But yeah, man, I think it's a great movie, and for me, I just need to be immersed in cool stuff, and it's been, I don't even know where to begin. If I seem a little out of it, it's because so much crazy stuff has been going on. So this morning, for those of you guys who don't know what a trip it has been, and it has been a complete and utter trip for the last, I don't know, since we launched Springball. What is it? What are we at now? 24 days ago, I think it was. Maybe 25 days ago. 5 days left in the first 30 days. It was a crazy launch, and then all of this insane stuff started happening. And here's some of the insane stuff. So this morning, and this is the most recent insane thing. This morning I wake up, and I see, I think it was he posted on YouTube right around the time I woke up, although the day's a blur. And Andy Smith had done a time-lapse drawing of Springball. If you guys don't know Andy Smith, he's the artist of KOR-DRATH. He's the artist of First Man. In fact, let me see if I can find it here. I just got in the mail recently. I didn't even have time to read it after I got it. But KOR-DRATH, The Awakening. This is Andy Smith's art. Just a hell of an artist. Does really cool stuff. And every genre. He's worked for everybody. In terms of the mainstream industry, the indie industry. He's got, a pretty glittering career in terms of all of the stuff that he's done. And yeah, it's really been that long since the launch, Emo. I'm not even kidding you. It's been mind-bending. So anyway, but here's what I know Andy Smith from primarily. And that is Andy Smith did the cover of my first professional job, Threshers, which incidentally, a young Shane Davis picked up in a BP gas station, having no idea that at some point we'd run into each other, just like Dan Lawless was delivering newspapers to my house when I must have been in first grade or kindergarten or second grade or something like that when I was a little kid in Michigan. Like, there's so many weird things that overlap. So I wake up to Andy Smith drawing Springball, and my brain just kind of, shifted on its axis a little bit. I was like, this is just a weird trip. It was awesome. Andy, great job. It was just a hell of a cool thing to wake up to. But so my wife and I took a trip down to Mystic, Connecticut a couple of days ago. And we went down there, and there's this little shopping area. And Mystic has just been a part of our lives for I don't know how long. I mean, it maybe like 20-something years. We've been married 25 years, and so I think we went when we were married. So at least 25 years. So a quarter of a century we've been going down to Mystic. And if you don't know anything about Mystic, there's the Mystic Aquarium, which is famous for its beluga whales and things like that. And then there's Mystic Seaport. It's just this really charming, beautiful New England town that is so picturesque. It's like, tourist vloggers now go there, which was not something that even existed when we started going there. So there's this little shopping area there. And we get to the little shopping area, and everything has changed. And it's a very strange thing because it's never been that upscale or interesting of a place. It was kind of like a shopping area they built near the aquarium to kind of make it look a little bit like New England with little buildings, but there wasn't really that much to do there. And we go there, and we check this thing out, and of all the crazy things, they had 2 shops there. It's like somebody was trying to turn it into a particular thing. I don't know if these shops are going to last or what, but there was a shop there that was basically called the Something Spooky or Haunted Bookstore. And it was a small bookstore that was filled with Edgar Allan Poe stuff, H.P. Lovecraft stuff. They even had a life-sized, okie dokie, wasn't great, statue of Edgar Allan Poe in there. They had, walls of different horror stuff, even some little horror, toys or things, but not a lot, just a couple in there. But it was mostly just books. And they had these TV screen paintings that would, change like the Haunted Mansion ones, but they would make them go underwater and all this stuff. It was so cool, man. Man, I know. Well, I was just laughing about that. I was thinking to myself when I streamed, no one's going to be in here because the Jack show is going. But I haven't streamed in a week, man. And I love those guys, man. Those guys have been a huge part of the cool stuff going on with Springball. And if someone would put this link, I was going to try to put this in my dang description, but I forgot. But Anna, that Star Wars girl, who I'm going to start calling Anna Pintura. I think that's going to be my new nickname for her painting, Aldrigo, which is Portuguese for painter. But Anna has got a book of her eye paintings up right now on Indiegogo, and I backed it. I'm backer number 9. So if you haven't backed it and you're a fan of bringing art, it's going to be a beautiful, small, to the size of the eye paintings, essentially, lovingly put together book of 100 of her eye paintings. And if you're the kind of person who's like me and likes to have a little bit of the kind of cool, a little bit of the macabre, kind of crazy stuff around you, you are going to love it, man. Oh my God, man. CG is a small world. I think I asked you before, you've been through Canton, Ohio. Yes, I've been through Canton, Ohio, a man called Plush. We actually had some friends, who were basically the people when I was living in Detroit, were the people whose house I'd run across the street to. Their boys were in high school, and I'd hang out over there, and I could play with their old Matchbox cars when I was a little kid, and they were always great to me. My Aunt Bev and my Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom worked in I called him Aunt Bev and Uncle Tom. He worked at Uniroyal Tires, and then when Detroit sort of collapsed in the 80s, everybody kind of just left, and we scattered to the winds, and but they moved down to Canton, Ohio. So we went up to visit them, and Tom, God rest him, has gone home. But he was always so great to me. They would give me paper to draw on when I was just a little kid and roaming around the neighborhood unattended, probably. But they were so nice. That my family knew them and everything. And but we went there. They took us to Amish country, and we got to see all of that, which was cool. Just fantastic people. I can't imagine I can't imagine my childhood. Some of my happiest memories of my childhood were actually in Michigan. Just a great time. And so those times with them in Canton, Ohio were fantastic. They were just fantastic people. So yeah, lots of love for Canton, Ohio, man. And look at this, Amoral Fats 40 ounces saying, Canton is not that far from me, man. Guys, I'm telling you what, it is such a small world, and it just seems like it keeps getting smaller in the best sense. And so yeah, so we went to Mystic, and we didn't do the aquarium or anything like that because the kids are grown up and they're off living their lives. And plus, we needed a weekend where it was just the two of us. And the thing about it that was so wild was they had that haunted bookstore there that was just so cool, and people were packed in there, which was great. And I guess it's because school is out. There's a vacation week here in New England. But it was really cool to see. And then on top of that, there was a freaking anime store there. So in the middle of this little shopping center in Mystic, West Tennessee represent. Yeah, man. I got a lot of love for West Tennessee, man. I'm from southeastern Tennessee, but I spent some time in West Tennessee. I actually drove out there with my friend Brian, another Brian, not my mentor Brian. We drove out to Graceland, man. We had barbecue on Beale Street out in Memphis. I love barbecue, so getting barbecue on Beale Street was just outstanding. There was a motorcycle convention that was in town, and they lined Beale Street with some of the most amazing, tricked out bikes you've ever seen. And then we toured Graceland together. In fact, for a long time before I lost it and it broke, I used to pour my ink, my Speedball ink, into an Elvis Presley shot glass that I would use when I was inking, because the glass of the shot glass would not get all crusty with the ink. And I'd wash it out every time. What's up, Tammy D? Channel member, what's up? Yeah, seriously. You have not had barbecue unless you've had barbecue in the South, man. I've had some decent barbecue up here. Everybody thinks that they know barbecue, but no. I'm seriously, like, oh man. There is some ferocious barbecue in Tennessee, man. There's some ferocious barbecue. And by the way, I am not somebody who, I will take all barbecue, okay? I'm not somebody who's, I'm not a barbecue snob by any stretch. I love me some barbecue. It's just the best stuff, man. God dang, I miss barbecue. There's certain things, there's a lot of stuff from the South I miss, and I know you guys know this, but the number one thing that I miss from the South is, of course, chicken fried steak with sawmill gravy, man. That's it. And I know Mandy was nice enough. She was like going, man, if your wife wants help, like, figuring out how to cook that, I'll help her, because it is a little tricky. Yeah, Memphis hosts the International Barbecue Championships. There you go, man. It's where people come to compete, where people come to figure out and see what they're made of, man. And so we're down there, and there's this small anime shop in there. This anime shop, I'm going to turn the camera a little bit while I'm sitting here. This anime shop has got these life-size, like, Dragon Ball figures when you come in. I think there was a life-sized One Piece figure and a couple of other anime characters. There was a back wall of manga, but it was mostly just like vinyl figures and model kits and Gundam model kits and all this stuff. I don't know if it's going to last and if it's still going to be there. But all I could think when they had like the Godzilla 1954 Bandai, high-end figure, vinyl figure there. All I could think when I was in there was, man, this is like, it's crazy. And it made me, there was a whole Studio Ghibli section. So my wife was really excited about that because she loves Studio Ghibli movies. But I was in there and I'm going, so you've got a horror movie or horror book store over there with Lovecraft and everybody, Stephen King, collections of classic ghost stories. I mean, it's decorated to look like the inside of the Haunted Mansion. So someone clearly put love into this. And then you go over to the other store, and they've got, couple $100 Japanese, vinyl figures of all these characters. They have stuff that if you know that kind of stuff and you collect that kind of stuff, that you'd be into it. And I just thought, man, this is how, like, what I want to see us do when we grow the American comic book industry. And I know it's not something that we're going to push in the sense of it's something that we're going to just diligently work at, and I think it's going to happen. I just think you can't, it's starting to coalesce and come together. It's always out of the ashes of these times that you see really cool stuff emerge. But I'll say this, man. Oh, man, 200 groups of people. My God. Art Hilda, it's great. Art Haida, not Hilda. Art Haida, it's great to see you. Pigman represent. Did you like the trailer? I don't know if you saw the trailer I did for Bosch, but I hope you liked it. I was working on that up until the point we went off to Mystic, and then I finished it up when I came back. I was just grinding, grinding my brain into the ground on that, trying to come up with something that worked and that would be good. True Shanth the North doesn't know how Country Fried dude, they don't know. The closest I'm going to get up here, and I haven't been yet, but I really want to go with Mrs. Enjetti because they have it on the menu, is we have a Texas Roadhouse. They started opening up a lot of Texas Roadhouses up here, and I just thought, man, I'm down for that. I want to go to Texas Roadhouse and get me. I haven't had any, since I was in Dallas a couple of years ago. And man, that was some great country fried steak, man. Or chicken fried steak, depending on what you refer to it as. But I love that stuff. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. A man called Plush. It's, yeah, the thing. Oh, thank you, Art Haida. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a Bosch was great. I reached out to Bosch and said, "Hey man, I want to do a trailer for you, man. I want to help you out." Yeah, dude, I'm serious. Texas Roadhouse. It's like they just opened up like almost like an umbrella and they just started popping up everywhere. But I wanted to do a trailer for Pigman because I just think that I thought there was a way to to just take a look at it and break it down to the the action and the drama, because Bosch did such a great job. There's a video on the campaign, if you haven't seen it, where Bosch breaks it down and he really gives you a really great overview of the story. But I was thinking about it and I thought, I want to see if I can come up with something, and I wasn't even sure I could come up with something for it. And then, there's obviously there's the opening scenes of the book and there's the opening scenes of the trailer. That obviously, it hit me and impacted me. And I was trying to figure out, what I could do with it that worked and that had the proper amount of drama. What's up, Alpha Channel? How are you doing? It's great to see you. And I love that profile pic, man. That's awesome. And so yeah, like I think I found a good balance with it. Because there's this undeniable aspect that I love about what Bosch's artwork does. And I know he's talked about, being a fan of Toth and Mazzucchelli and Miller and all those folks. But there's this really cool kind of raw sort of grittiness of the Dark Knight that I like. Yeah. I'm sorry, odd comparison since his... Bosch played it. Oh, on his stream earlier tonight. Nice! Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for saying well done. I do appreciate that. Odd comparison since his came first, but yours was basically the theatrical trailer. And his was the... You know what? That's interesting. That's a really interesting point, but you're right. I mean, he goes very much into the depth of it, which I think is really cool. And I just thought, well, what could I do that's that captures it without reducing it too much? Which is because there's this really fascinating parallel between these brothers, and so there's action, there's a lot of drama in it. And so, and drama inherent to the situation, which is to say, these two brothers choose two very different paths. And, what's interesting is I grew up, in an area where there was a lot of Civil War history. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and everybody knows the history there. The, Chickamauga battlefield, the Battle of Missionary Ridge. I mean, there were some huge, decisive battles. And so my teacher was obsessed with the Civil War, being obviously a Southern gentleman himself. One of my teachers who taught Civil War would just kind of he was a Civil War reenactor. He'd really make that stuff come alive for me. And was just a brilliant, kind Southern gentleman. I can't say it any better than that. That's who he was. And I only knew him as, he was our dean, one of our deans, so I know him as Dean Bailey, but he was just a terrific gentleman. And anyway, he would always talk about that stuff. And so, there was a lot of during the American Civil War, there were a lot of instances where brothers found themselves squaring off against each other. And I remember, I don't know if it's an urban legend. Maybe somebody knows it. Maybe somebody could educate me on that. But there was a story that always, when Dean Bailey told a story, and Dean was such a southern guy. He had a southern accent like this. He'd say boys. And it was an all-boys school. Yeah, we saw all the Tennessee Civil War battle sites in the Boy Scouts. Jeez, Bear Night, man. Coming in, man. Hot, man. That's awesome. Howdy, Shanth the chat. Howdy, A Silent Spirit. It's great to see you. What was the Patrick Swayze show? Oh, The Blue and the Gray. That was it. You got it. Blue and the Gray. And so Dean Bailey would always say to us, he'd go up on stage, he'd flare his eyes. He'd go, boys. And he said, boys, if I can give you one bit of advice, do not pierce into the wind. He was such a great dude. And so, but he told the story of these two, this soldier in the Civil War, who had, and I forget what the battle was, but he broke through the Confederate lines and found himself, I forget what it was, but it was at night. I think it was in the dark, because that was the gist of the story. And he fired. He had been hit, and so he fired back, mortally wounded the guy that was in front of him. And I'm sure it's an urban legend or whatever, but who knows? You never know. I mean, these things are crazy, the things that happened. And he collapsed on top of the guy he had just mortally wounded, himself mortally wounded, and they had enough life left in their bodies to learn that they were brothers who are just on opposite sides of it. And maybe it's a poem, maybe it's some poetic thing, but there's something about that. In the way that he told it, you'd have to hear it in this very gentlemanly. If you've ever heard Shelby Foote talk in the Civil War documentary, that's exactly how Dean Bailey talks, man. And it's one of those stories like the two guys who went off to Nam, man, right? I know you guys all know those two stories, but these two guys went off to Nam. They were best friends their entire childhood. They got caught in an ambush, and they were able to flee and take cover, but one of the friends was hit, was left out in the field, and his friend said, I gotta go and get him. Everybody was like, don't go out there and get him. You guys will know this story and tell it better. Don't go back there and get him. He's done for. He's hit. He's a mess. He's dead already, so don't risk your life. And the guy goes, no, I'm gonna go and get him. And he rushes out there. These were the stories we were told when I was growing up that really shaped me. So he goes out there to try to rescue his friend, his childhood friend he's known his whole life. And he gets out there. No, it's almost worse than that. Robble 13 and Hail channel member, it's great to see you. He runs out there to get him, and he grabs him, and he comes back, to where they've taken shelter. And they're like, are you crazy, you idiot? And he puts him down on the ground, and he's dead. And they go, didn't you see what we told you? He's dead. You went out there to grab him, and you risked your life. You could have been killed. And the guy says, he wasn't dead when I got there. I got there in time to hear his last words, and his last words were, I knew you'd come. And those are the things when I'm writing, and the stories that really just hit me when I was a kid. I mean, those are the things that you just go, oh my God, and the human drama. Bruce Campbell's Chin says, I live in the town the Hindenburg crashed in. My God, it's our only claim to fame. That's a hell of a claim to fame. I used to listen to the audio from that and think about how I could do do something with it, something interesting with it. There's a couple of broadcasts that are burned into my memory, radio broadcasts, and one of them is, of course, that one, and then the other one is the Orson Welles, War of the Worlds, which is such a great listen. If you've never heard it, there's some radio stations that play it on Halloween, and of course, in terms of modern radio broadcasts, I'm a avid listener to old Art Bell, Ghost to Ghost, radio shows. I love those. There's so many. They're almost all on YouTube, I think, now. And I listen to those, and it's just so great. Yeah, Hindenburg, man, it's crazy, isn't it? Bruce, just cause a bigger commotion, then they'll have two things to talk about. What's going on? Oh my God, yeah, that's right. Yeah, cause a bigger commotion. That's right. Yeah. Then they'll have two big things in the town. Hindenburg is a pretty significant thing. I imagine that there's got to be some kind of monument or museum to it there. I mean, that was up there with the Titanic in terms of, catastrophic, disasters where the idea of progress and technology was called into question. I mean, that really is up there with the Titanic in terms of and it was faster, it was brutal, and it was captured, with the press all standing there. It was meant to be a celebration and a promotional event that then just turned into a total disaster. And those things are unique to history. Those are very unique. Yeah, Hindenburg was huge. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's nuts. It's one of those, defining moments in history. Just craziness. Let me see here. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's a small church with a museum in it. Very nice, man. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, it's the interesting thing about Mrs. Enjeti. We talk about this stuff, but a lot is that she's really interested in, and by the way, just so you guys know, this is influenced by some of the characters and the monsters from Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex, which just had a huge closeout. Congratulations to Shane. All I could think of is when I saw that anime store is with all the creatures and monsters and Godzilla stuff, and I bet Shane and Yanzi would love this place, man. Lauren and I were just going through it, and he was one of the first people I thought of. I was like, he'd love this stuff, man. It's cool. So, but yeah, I love this book. It's one of my favorite books in Comicsgate. I love drawing the characters, and I wanted to do an illustration inspired by just the scale of monsters in my favorite double page spread in book 2. And I just think this is seeing the Rexes so small and the scope of the creatures in this book. I mean, it's just it's nuts. It's almost like I mean, I've heard a lot of people compare it to, like, they're like, it's Pacific Rim meets this or that. Pacific Rim meets Rocky, but I actually think there's an element, like there's a darker element to it that's almost like there's elements of Blade Runner and Attack on Titan. I don't know if that makes sense, but man, yeah, captured by the press. The press just happened to, yeah. Yeah, I've had lots of conversations about that in our house. Let's see, OFC, I was the weirdo that was fascinated. There you go. I knew you'd say War of the Worlds. Yeah, it's iconic for a reason. I tell people who don't listen to radio shows, just do that one if you're only going to do one. Yeah, and I love Orson Welles. I love Orson Welles' Shadow radio shows too, so I listen to those. Those are, Orson Welles is fantastic. He's like the Shadow. How long have you been drawing? Wow. I'd say, I've really, and I'm not saying this in the sense of, to be, obtuse or anything about it, but I've really been drawing since I could hold a pencil, and by that I mean really trying to draw what I saw. I mean, it was just, and what's funny is, and I try to tell people about this sometimes because you wouldn't think it, is I had terrible hand control when I was a kid. So I used to write like this. I would hold one hand with the other hand when I was trying to write letters. I mean, did I knock a brush down? Let me grab that. But I just didn't have the muscle control. And so hand control came very, very slow to me. Very slow. And it was just a question of, I was constantly frustrated by my lack of hand control. And I was trying to get better and better and better. But a lot of it was, the drive. There's obviously, some natural talent in there, that people have for things, whether it's sports or writing or, music, or, I see so many amazing things out there. But I just was really, really disciplined about it. And I tried to find any book source I could. This is the first time, to see this part of your process. Oh, very cool. And might be a dumb question. Do you run, an eraser over your pencils, or does the paint hide to erase it? Well, what's funny is I usually don't pencil this much. So you're seeing kind of a rare part of me doing this. But yeah, what I usually do is I'll run an eraser over it once I sketch things in. And I wanted to, if I draw this much, which is very rare on this, but it's because of the scale I'm dealing with. So, but yeah, what I'll do is this will stain the paper, and then once it dries, I've got a nice little sketch there. But sometimes I go straight into the sketch process. I kind of doomed myself by getting really detailed here before I had planned out the rest of this thing. But yeah, it's not a dumb question. There's a part of this where, yeah, I'm here to make sure I'm promoting SPRINGBALL, and I'm making sure I'm promoting my comics. And Nosfero, guys, the links are in the description if you're watching this on X and you haven't backed those books yet. Nosfero is a fully painted book in this particular style you're seeing right here, or this method of working, I guess I would say. And it's going to be closing down probably in about, let me think, about 35, 40 days. And then it will be gone for a while, because then I'm going to focus on SPRINGBALL and be printing. I'm going to go to print as quick as I can on that, because it's drawn. So that's it. It's going to be a really much nicer process. But yeah, when you guys have questions, ask. I can actually, as has been remarked on a few times, I can actually talk and paint at the same time, because I don't use the same part of my brain for some reason. So I have recently realized that this is a very odd thing, as more artists have said that to me. But I thought it was normal, because I just watched Bob Ross growing up. So I figured that's how he did it. So I thought that's how everyone did it. And as you can see, he still has no hand control. It's totally true. It's totally true. Yeah, I couldn't write in script until, let's see, I'm 48 now, and I don't think I could. What year is it now? Let me think. 2000 was 10. I don't think I could write in script till about 10 years ago. Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I couldn't write in script. So my hand control was really bad. Let's see, first time good. I got that one from A Silent Spirit. First time seeing the process. Absolutely. Hey, what's up, Spaceman? How are you doing, man? Good to see you. Hail, Shanth. How you doing, brother? I'm doing great, man. I hope you're doing well. Ahoy to Tammy. People saying hello. I was watching Dave Raposa draw stream earlier today. Very cool. Amazing work if you guys haven't found him yet. Yeah, check out Dave Raposa's stuff. There's some great people in the Comicsgate space. It's just really cool. A lot of great independent artists. I know that he's his own thing. Like Dave Raposa, if I'm not mistaken, is one of Eric Weathers' favorite artists. He did the Ninja Turtle painting, right? That's what he's famous for? Yeah, that's right. He's not Comicsgate. That's where I know him from, though. But I know him from Eric Weathers, because I'd seen those pieces, but I was not aware of of his name in particular, because I was looking at different stuff at that time. But man, Eric Weathers really introduced me to his stuff. He does killer stuff, really killer stuff. If that's the right person. I'm not sure if Alpha Channel, if I'm correct. And Alpha Channel, it's great to see you again as always. I know I said that before, but I'm loving that new pick. Is great. Yeah, I love anything. I'm a big lover of Halloween and all things spooky. A massive H.P. Lovecraft fan. I think he is the greatest horror writer ever. And I don't know. For me, I've always found horror not very horrific, for lack of a better way of putting it. I've seen enough in my time to where certain things don't really do it for me. And so I'm always looking for something that has that psychological element and seems to grasp it. And he is unrivaled when it comes to that kind of stuff. He's just he had a rough go of it, and I think it just made its way into his writing. But who knows? It's interesting. People try to, for me anyway. It's one of the things that amazes me is that you really can't break down someone who's a genius like H.P. Lovecraft by saying, oh, he had this experience, because lots of people have strange experiences and have, difficult childhoods and prejudices and all of those kinds of things that everybody's going to experience at some point or another. It's just, he's a genius. That's all I can figure at the end of the day, man. Yeah, look at this, guys. Yeah, it's great to see, man, of course. Let me see here. There you guys go. All right, IG, if we're asking any kind of questions, just for future reference, would you mind me DMing work for a critique? Now, listen, Emo, I think you said this, you were talking to Rocky about this, and Rocky was like, I'm not Gordon Ramsay. I just am I'm a horrendous critiquer. Like, I am just too rough. So I don't know if I can do those kinds of critiques anymore. And it's not, how do I put it? I taught for so many years. I don't really do critiques anymore. And it's not because of, let me see if I can explain this the best way. My mentor was very direct and very much like, okay, here's this. And it was never to break me down, and that's never how I critiqued. But for me, it's just, yeah, like, I don't know, you know who you should ask about what the experience is with me in terms of critique, who would know? One of the few people who would know, hey, John, what's up? It's great to see you, man. Who would know and who would be great is Eric Weathers. Because we haven't had a lesson in a while, but I was doing, because he's shipping Battle Brick Road, but I was doing painting lessons with Eric Weathers, and I'm one of those people who's like, stop doing this, stop doing that. Like, I can't really critique people unless I can see how they work. Like, I got to see how people hold their shoulder. I got to see how people, position their hand. I got to see how people move, whether they're left or right-handed. Like, there's so much stuff to it. And I try to break it down as much as I can to the molecular level when I teach. And so the only person I've really taught in all this time is, since I've stopped teaching, is Eric Weathers. Funny enough, though, I will tell you one funny story. I did come in to work with my wife to help out a friend and do some substitute teaching. And it's just, it never goes away. If you're a great teacher, you never lose that. And Eric actually sent me some outstanding professional work by one of my former students that I told him about. She just does incredible stuff. And it's great. It's great to see people thrive. It's great to see people do that kind of work. But, man, there is so much involved. Like, here's the way I think about critique, okay? It's the best way I can put it for anyone who's interested. Seeing finished artwork is like seeing a crime scene. You have to look at the crime scene and try to figure out what happened. And the only way to really critique somebody is to mentor somebody. And most working artists don't really have the time for that. And that sort of time and commitment. And I gave 18 years of my life to it, and it's a lot. And what is great about it, and unfortunately art schools don't do as much of, because there's so many critiques. What's up, Headless Bourgeoisie? It's great to see you, my friend. Hail, brother. But what a lot of people, they can't do the right. You're 100% right, Art Haida. But you gotta see how people hold their pen, their pencil, their brush, how they work in order to give them an effective critique. You got to understand, like, watch people. I'm not even kidding. You have to watch people's breathing. You got to watch how long they take when they're working. So I think sometimes some of the best stuff I can do for helping young artists is to let them watch certain parts of my process. Like, I don't really show everything I do because, I don't know, I think artists should keep some of that stuff to themselves. Just in terms of the internet. Like, some of my students know things about my process. Like Eric Weathers, I certainly can't teach him everything I know, but I'm teaching him almost so far. I'm teaching him most of what I can teach. Well, let's just say I'm teaching. Actually, it's more like, because I don't teach the character design stuff. It's more like he's learning in terms of the rendering aspect of things, and the painting aspect of things. Right now, he's at about probably like 25% of what I can teach, but he'll get more the more stuff we do. Yeah, I mean, it's so, gosh, I'll tell you a funny story I found out this week, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know, I don't talk about it. I talk about Chattanooga more than I talk about where I went to college. So I went to college at this place called Rhode Island School of Design. And certainly at that time, God knows where it is now. But at that time, you know, it had some ridiculously low acceptance rate. And it was considered the Harvard of art schools. Like, it was, people like Dave McCauley went there, Seth MacFarlane went there, and like, it was just, Gus Van Sant went there, but it was just like one of the hardest art schools to get into in the country. I think the only art school or art college that was ranked above us was the art department at Yale. That was it. And we were undisputed during that time in terms of just what we were putting out and how we were regarded. You can do with that what you will. So I went there. I was actually accepted into that school when I had been 17 for about 3 months. I sent off early decision. I got into there, and then Washington University, another college in St. Louis. And I started teaching there, I think, I have to do the math on this, when I was 26, I think, I started teaching there. So I'd been doing concept art for Hasbro and comic stuff and things like that. And they brought me in to teach there. And in the years that I taught there, which was 15 years, my classes were the highest waitlisted classes in the illustration department at Rhode Island School of Design. Nobody could touch me, man. That's the way it was. You know? And it's my brother Bosch in here. What's up, Bosch? How are you doing, brother? It's so funny because people were telling me you showed the trailer on your show tonight, which is great. And I just realized I should load that trailer up. So let me see if I can do this. Oh, God. Watch an old man. Hang on a minute. This is going to be annoying, but just bear with me, guys. Are we there? All right, cool. So we're here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can play this trailer. This trailer I made for Bosch. Of course, brother. No, Bosch, you know Bosch. So I'm going to play this trailer real quick. Or not real quick. I'm going to play it, and then you guys can see it. And then, yeah, I'll tell you guys some cool stuff in there. It's fun. So here you go. Without further ado, if you have not backed PIGMAN, it is listed in my support independent creator section at the bottom of the description of this video. So there's the link. And Bosch, are you a mod? Hold on a second, man. Let me walk and chew gum real quick, guys, which you know how that's going to go. Lordy be. Pause. For heaven's sake. I'm trying to get right with God and swear less, as we say in the South. We'll see what I can do. Moderator. Here we go. Bosch, you should be good for posting the link to your campaign in the chat, my friend. You should be set for that. So, now I got that taken care of. There we go. Oh, cool. Bosch says, let me see if I can make this happen here. Oh, I also showed a pencil drawing on my stream of something that'll be finished shortly. Very cool, man. Dang. Tantalizing. All right, guys. So here's a look at the trailer. I'm going to walk you through. And once we're done with it, and I'll tell you a little bit about the process. So here we go. Without further ado, check it out. there you guys go. So there is a look at the Pigman trailer, and if you have not, there's a little Easter egg in there. So typically I will put trailer by SHANTH ENJETI at the end. But like a lot of people, thank you, Spaceman. I do appreciate it, brother. Like a lot of people, and I know Bosch certainly counts himself as one of these. I was deeply affected. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Antoine. Good to see you, Professor. What'd you think? How'd I do? And one of the things that was, I got to the end of the trailer and I wanted to put something there, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to put there. So if you look, there's a little card that flashes right at the end of it, and the card is says oh my god, I'm like blanking out now. This is how long it's been. I gotta find it. My brain is pudding right now, guys. Where did I put it? I know I have it here somewhere. I have just this gigantic, yes. The card says 2,977. And so it's done in a way to where it's kind of looks like a graphic image, but it's the amount of people, firemen, passengers, as of which I knew, the twin daughters of a mother and grandmother who were dropping their kids off at Rhode Island School of Design, where I was teaching. I had the opportunity to talk to and teach them both their senior year of college. So I have that number as a little bit of an homage there, and out of respect for those folks. And so, yeah, so that's a little Easter egg. I don't think I've actually mentioned that before this stream. So if you haven't backed the book yet, back Bosch's book. The link is in the description. Back Bosch's book. Yeah. So yeah, I had to do that. I thought I assumed you would approve, obviously. But it was just something I felt like that was because I know you guys know this, but when I make artwork for somebody, whether it's a commission or it's a trailer, or anything like that. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, because I think I said this earlier on the stream, but there's this great drama inherent in the story of these brothers and these two opposing sides, because were they strangers, there wouldn't be that dynamic of those two locked together. Because ultimately, what's interesting, there's this old story. Sorry, go ahead, Shanth, make MW a trailer, the one wait a second, make me a trailer, the one I have now, I live now, is quite dilapidated. Oh, for God's sake. Antoine. Are you happy, Antoine? Antoine is a surgeon with his humor. Got him, Antoine. What's new, Mighty Geek Studios? It's great to see you, brother. Backing Pigman for sure. I dig Fund My Comic. Yep. See, guys, I'm telling you, this is how we do it. So there's another example. So when Fund My Comic started, you guys know this, and they had kind of a rough sketch of a logo they wanted. I reached out. I did some designs because I wanted to have a crisp logo for a trailer that I was actually doing for, I think I did it for Narwhal's Earthbound 2 trailer is when I did that. So I created a logo for them, and I sent it to them, and I said, hey guys, I created this, and they made it the logo on the site. And so, man, I was talking about this with Dan Lawless earlier today, who's just a real generous cheerleader of Comicsgate, just an incredible craftsman and artist. But yeah, like I take Grab an Ore to heart, and when I do a trailer, for somebody, or I do a logo for somebody, or I do something like that, I really think about it really hard, and I go, very in depth to it, and I can't just, it's not something I can just do. I probably spent about, off and on, around, because before I even got some high resolution images, by the way, thank you, Bosch, I was roughing it in with the stuff that I had on the campaign and trying to time it out and maximize its impact. But I was just sort of living in the world for a bit, trying to figure it out. I tried to find, generate some music using an AI generator music, because I don't want creators to get struck with copyright, and I'm assuming the AI open free music is only going to be free for a short while before they start copywriting the stems, because I assume that's how it works. But I just didn't want to make it any double wide, says Headless Bourgeoisie. Correct. Big Twins has more drama. Yes, more at stake, as it's also personal. Yes, indeed. And then, of course, there's the meta aspect of it. Yeah, Dan's a great ambassador for CG and a hell of a guy. Listen, man, this is the stuff that makes it all fun for me. It's just sketching. This stuff is, inspired by Shane's book Inglorious Rex, which I'm a big fan of. But yeah, I spent a lot of time with it, and sort of getting that cut at the very beginning, and then getting the actual audio from that day was really crazy. Yeah, Luke Stone is a madman. He must be stopped. Next month, he's doing a 1% site fee for individuals, 0 for publishers. Wow. That is a trip. Yeah, Luke, that's the thing, man. It's like when you see people trying to do something, yeah, Love Lawless. And he's another weird Comicsgate story. That he was, back when I was in Michigan, he was delivering newspapers to my house when I was in kindergarten. So, it's been a few years since those days, almost 50 years since I was probably knocking about that area. But there's all these crazy sort of overlaps. But we can do a lot if we just keep our focus on excellence and on putting stuff out there. And so, going all the way back to those early Comicsgate Kings intros, and then trailers that I did for creators I didn't even know, or recuts of trailers, and starting every single stream I do, I try to have, as you guys know, not try to have, every stream I do, I have creator trailers in the stream, and I usually try to custom edit them, so that there's, something new you're getting when you come onto this channel here. So yeah, and of course, doing the trailer, I think probably the most complicated trailer I've ever done, that was just sort of a pick-me-up trailer, because, I can't remember. Ethan's always got a lot of stuff going on. He's always under fire. And this was this had to do with, I think, people were, kind of attacking David Williams' book, Fearsome, and it's how it was performing or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I just think David Williams is such a great artist, and what Ethan was doing with Fearsome and what he was doing for David was really, really cool, because, he's got you got to showcase an artist's work, right? And so he didn't have a trailer for that, and so I did that Saul Bass homage trailer inspired by Psycho for the Fearsome trailer. And sometimes it's just that little shot in the arm a creator needs, Thanks, Brother John. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. My resume is weird, man. All sorts of crazy stuff, man. When I think about, Brohawk seems criminally underrated. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you know comics and you know the language, I mean, that guy, which I'm assuming most of you guys do, he's serious. He's got a bold style, and his style work can be both action-based but also really trippy. The stuff he's doing on Fearsome is trippy. I don't even know if I have the Fearsome preview comic around here somewhere, but I don't know if I filed it away. But I do have it somewhere, and it's just really cool. I mean, most of you guys maybe have seen those pages, but it's a hell of a preview for a book, man. Absolutely great. But yeah, I mean, it's really tough to crack some trailers and do some trailers. CYBERFROG, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable doing CYBERFROG trailers. Ethan actually hired me to do the Dark Harvest trailer, which is one of my favorites. I the thing about that trailer that I like, that not everybody may have been wild about, but I'm sorry, like, I absolutely love it. Let's see if I can make this work. There we go. That I absolutely love about that trailer is I really dig the fact that that Ethan, let me see if I can move this a little bit. There we go. Just want to get you guys a little bit closer. But I love that Ethan gave me this impossible song to cut a horror movie trailer to, which is Take Good Care of My Baby. And somehow I put that together. It was fun. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's, I believe people were saying, oh, look, this book isn't funding as well, and all this other stuff. And we're really kind of putting down Fearsome because it wasn't, a hit on the level of CyberFrog. And I just thought, man, I want to do something to just get people excited about that book. So that was a lot of fun. And it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing with PIGMAN. I would say the person who I've got to get after doing more updated trailers for and going after is me. I've got to do more of that shit, man. I try not to swear. I'm working on it. But I want to do more of that stuff. Yeah, I got to get after it because I found that, and God bless him, I certainly feel as though I've been very fortunate in the fact that, I get very excited about promoting a lot of other people's stuff, and I still sometimes have a tougher time promoting my own stuff. And I'm very blessed and fortunate that that I've got people who have my back and creators who have my back and really push the stuff. I mean, whether it's John, who's been the biggest champion of Springball, I think, and me personally, of anybody in Comicsgate at this point, to Ethan, of course, who's been incredibly generous and been a champion of my work as well, and certainly with the CyberFrog trading card and that kind of thing. I mean, the opportunities and the doors that Ethan's opened over the last God knows how many years now it is. I'm incredibly grateful for. And then Shane, who's someone, is probably one of the most recent people that I've met, and just a kindred spirit in terms of monsters and creatures. And he's also been a big supporter of my work and the stuff I'm doing with Springball. So and Mandy, I don't want to leave. I gotta see if I stop, if I start listing and I forget somebody, but it's like Mandy, of course. All of the folks, Dan Lawless, of course, did an amazing Nosfero piece. Andy Smith with his Springball piece. I mean, again, it's easy to do things for people here. Graham Nolan, of course, has been talking about my work and had me on a bunch of times to talk about it. A fellow monster kid. Yeah, it's my cup runneth over, man, and I just feel like it's great. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And so glad we know you too, Alpha Channel. Let me make sure I say that for sure. Yeah, David's first show back on Graybeards was so great. Not a dry eye in the house. I honestly, I can't do it, man. I can't watch stuff like that anymore. I'm getting too old, and I break too easy, man. Yeah, just swear in Hindi. Yeah, I know. That's right. Yeah, calls you. Well, it's funny. I actually know more German curse words because I'm a fourth Austrian, so I know things like Arschloch and Scheißkopf and Schweinhund and Dummkopf and all of those things. So it's like that's more where I would be. It's crazy, man. And hail John. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, indeed. Prayers for Brohawk. Absolutely right. Yeah. Williams. Dave Williams he's just got he's just got it, man. He's got that thing, and that's what it is, guys. When you look at the stuff I do or the stuff that folks in Comicsgate do, it's very hard for us to explain it. But it's just sometimes you have this way of seeing things and thank God that there's an audience here who reacts to it. I mean, Springball has been something that when I was in Mystic and I was looking at that store, that whatever it is, that anime and manga store, but it was basically a Japanese action figure and vinyl figure stuff. It had Godzilla stuff there. I just kept looking at it, and I thought of Springball, and I go, what the thing is about what America has kind of forgotten in our work is making and designing iconic, colorful, playful, interesting, dark characters, but characters that are also bright and fun. And I think that's one of the things I dig about Shane's work and Yanzi's work. I don't want to forget Yanzi, for God's sake. But what they did with Starlight Cats and Inglorious Rex is occupying some really interesting space in terms of bringing something new into American comics. And that's what I'm trying to do with Nosfero and Springball, is to kind of get to places that I think, that need to be explored. and that should be explored. Like, we have so much, because the work that's going on right now in American comics is not reaching a big audience, and not as big of an audience as manga, and as big of an audience as it should. It means that it's probably a question primarily of us just dialing it up. Because when you see somebody, I remember when people were saying, look at where we are right now with video games and all this stuff. Kids will never read books again. And I mean, I said to somebody, I go, there's going to be a time when someone writes a book that kids react to. And then, of course, Harry Potter came out. And then on the heels of Harry Potter, you had things like Twilight and Hunger Games and all of that stuff. And it just became this pop culture tsunami for an entire generation. Like, Harry Potter, what is larger than that? And so I don't accept the premise that comics can't compete with that stuff. I think that the stuff that we're making, or that we have been making, can't compete with that stuff, because comics is a unique art form. I think it's the French that refer to it as the ninth art. And I think they're right. I think it is its own art form. It is unique. And like I said, I think that Comicsgate is where, for me anyway, the most interesting stuff is happening. And as an artist and as a creator, I like interesting stuff. That stuff is my fuel. And when you're kind of in this this desert of creativity, it's much harder to make interesting stuff. Much harder. I was looking at some of the stuff that the pages that Graham Nolan is working on. My monster brother, much love, Graham. I was looking at some of the pages he was posting for, Monster Island, and holy crap, man. You can tell when someone is in the zone with something, and he is really dialed in on those pages. For me, it's there was something in there. I don't know what it is. It's almost as if, I don't know. It's hard to describe because we come in here and it's like Alien Alamo and it's Chenu. Like, he's got so many things going on. But it's almost like he's hit this new level with Monster Island. Maybe it's because he knows it's the finale. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask Graham this. I don't know. But there's something really... there's something very hard to describe. It's like he's got this... I don't know. He's got a new grasp on these characters. And in their sort of... for now, final bow of the 3-part arc. I don't know. They're doing some crazy, crazy good stuff on that, if that makes sense. You mentioned David Williams at John. Yeah, there you go. Yanzi has to ink those overly detailed pencils. God bless her, and put up with Shane. Respect. Yeah, Yanzi's great. Yeah, Yanzi's work. She has to put up with Shane. Yeah. Shant, you have to watch it. It's so great. David is so thankful to his colleagues and fans. Great stuff. Yeah, I know. Come on, man. I'm getting old. I can't handle it. Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. Yes, Anton. Yeah, he lost his wife to cancer a few months ago. Yeah, David had to take a knee or a standing 8 count for a bit, and I'm sure he's still, it's still wounded. But there's no way he couldn't be. I mean, it's like a phantom limb situation. Yeah. And you need that, you need that kind of support, man. And when you have a marriage of decades, there's this term for wife and even spouse in Hindi that is actually written on my wife's wedding band, and it's Artangi is the word. And it's a Sanskrit word, and it means you are half my body. And that's what it is. That's what it is. And yeah. And David is we know David is strong. We know David has support around him and all of that stuff, but yeah, I mean it's a hell of a thing, and I can't the thought of watching it just like it's when I read those posts and I was just I just looked over at the missus and we were just, yeah. God bless him. God bless him. And what a talent. We're so fortunate to have him, man. We are so fortunate to have David Williams. And if I think I have a link to Fearsome in the description. I hope it's the most up-to-date campaign. But guys, if you haven't yet, and you haven't backed Fearsome, or if you want to back it again, do me a favor. Go to that link and back that book for David Williams. David is just he's just a great artist, and he does great work. I don't see, if I play, I will get a claim on my video, unfortunately, if I play the Fearsome trailer. But I'm getting to the point where I almost don't care. I almost am just like, whatever, I want to play it. Let me see here. Hold on a second. That way you guys can see it, and yeah, whatever. It'll just be what it is. I'll put this here. I'm going to see if I can find it. Hold on a second, guys. Be patient with me. There you guys go. So there's a trailer I did for David Williams, man, and it was, like I said, you know, it was one of those things that I sent an email to Ethan. I said, Ethan, can you get me some high resolution images of Fearsome? I want to cut a trailer inspired by Saul Bass's Hitchcock titles. Like, these are the kinds of emails we send to each other. And Ethan was like, yeah, man. You know, sure. And the reason I did it is because people were talking about, Fearsome hasn't raised that much money. Thanks, Bosch. Thanks, brother. Look, guys, I am, that was just me stealing from Saul Bass Alpha Channel. It has to be done, man. But you know what it is, guys? It's like, so people were saying that, and I'm just thinking, David doesn't need to be hearing that stuff, and Ethan's always just trying to help people and make great work, and that book deserves more eyes. It's really cool, but when you're Ethan and you're spinning like 1,000 plates, sometimes it's nice for someone to come from the outside. Like, I was joking with my wife the other day, and I said, actually, I think I even was joking with Eric Weathers about this, and I said, man, I was like, one of these days, I said, maybe Ethan needs to hire me to be his Jamie, like Joe Rogan has on his podcast, his semi-autistic, person who's like calling up videos and making stuff, because, man, that guy, God bless him. Thank God he's got Eric Weathers working for him now, but he spins so many plates, man. He needs like a frickin' Jamie, man. But this is, the thing about it is that I was watching that, and that's how I actually met Ethan and started doing videos for him. And I go, this dude, I got to do something cool for that campaign. I want to get more eyes on, and I want to get him pumped about, because I know he's excited about it. But it's easy to play. It's easier when you can play a trailer and then do your pitch, because it gets you psyched. And I think I must have spent day and night on that thing. Maybe like 5 or 6 days. I mean, every single element to get it to overlap and come together. Like, it's an absurd idea. Yeah, pull it up, Jamie. That's absolutely what it is, man. Bosch, I'm telling you, that's what he needs. He's got so many things going on. Someone who can just like shut up and do those little things. You know what I mean? And who can kill on, when it comes to doing things like trailer and promotional stuff and getting that stuff together. I mean, he's got Eric, thank God, because Eric is just a machine as well. And he knows the stuff, but it's just like, God, he's got so many things. But it was like, I was like, I want this to be great. And I mean, I was just, it's the same thing with Pigman. It's the same thing with any trailer I do for anybody. Like, how do I make the most impact so that a creator, and I don't know why I do stuff. I don't know why. It's hard. Well, I do know why. It's just, it's the kind of thing to where I really care, man. I give a crap about this stuff, you know. And it's like the funniest thing about, and I love, you know, you gotta take all this stuff with a grain of salt. But the thing I like about it, or that always cracks me up about it, is that people will sort of say, you know, it's been since 2019. People will go, oh, you know, it's like, you know, you're doing this stuff for a reason, or you're kissing ass, or whatever the hell it is. And I think to myself, if these people knew how many things I do like that, for people you will never meet, you will never know, who have no big thing I can get anything back from, whether it's giving a book or art supplies to a student or helping out in my community, it's like I do this stuff all day. The only reason people, a certain kind of person only notices it, who, when people are obsessed with status and getting in with people and their self-concept, they only notice the things you do for people that they want to get status from. So they assume you do things for the same reason they do, because they would never even notice or look at most of the people that I help in my day-to-day life. You know what I mean? They don't care about those kinds of people. So you guys are only seeing in Comicsgate an extension of what I do every other place in my life. Every other place in my life I'm like this. I had one of my wife's coworkers, and my wife paid me a hell of a compliment, but one of my wife's coworkers, when I came in to help and volunteer at the school, goes, "Is he always like this?" And my wife goes, "Yeah, he's always like this. You know, he's always like this." And then Rocky was talking about this on stream, and he's like, "Shanth's always like this. I've known him for 30 years. 30 years. You know," and it's like my close friends know if they've got a problem or they've got a crisis, you know, they can call me anytime, you know. And it's just like, there's so many people that people don't meet. One of my former students, who's an amazing concept artist, he called me up because he was excited for me. Like, this is the coolest thing about friendships. He's a concept artist, did a ton of stuff for Guitar Hero. I've talked about him before. He's awesome. He did a Nolan workshop series on character design, and he's one of my former character design students, which was great. He even mentioned me, which he didn't have to do, but it was really sweet of him to do so. And he called me up because he was excited about Springball. He goes, "I can't believe you're brought back Springball, man." And he's back Nosfero. He's backed all of my stuff, man. And he had just kind of missed it. And we ended up talking for 3 hours. Just being artists, man. Just being artists. You know, it wasn't anything on stream. It wasn't on anything on that. But I'll tell you this, man. When my kids call me, and when they were little, and they come home for school, like, "How was your day?" and things like that. Like, man, I know I'm getting a little bit off the rails here in terms of topics, but, you know, whatever. But it was a real... man, I agree with you 100%. Bourgeoisie enthusiasm is infectious. One of the great things about CG is the cross-pollination of excitement for the medium. Noman is amazing, says Alpha Channel. Yeah, and it's a great video. But when my daughter was little, I had this big thing about, I always wanted to send her to school with her shoes looking nice. It's just one of those. I don't know if any of you guys are like that with your kids, or you had parents who were like this, but I think certain folks culturally or whatever, I don't know what it is, but I always wanted her shoes to look nice. And these little shoes she had, they scuffed so easy. They weren't expensive shoes, but every day before I took her in to school, and I dropped my kids off at school every day of their elementary school days, so, and preschool and daycare for their entire childhoods, I did that. I would get up every morning and I would grab her shoes, and I would make sure that all the scuffs had shoe polish on them, and they looked nice when I dropped her off. Like, I'll never look back on that and regret it, man. Those are the things that are valuable to me, you know? And even a funny story is, so my daughter had a teacher who, I'm going to try not, because I don't want to talk about all this stuff too much, because it is whatever. I try to protect my family and everything. But she had a teacher who worked with her and helped her in her particular area of interest for, gosh, almost her entire life practically, since she was about 6 years old. And when my daughter was no longer in that particular place, I had always dedicated my time to doing artwork and things like that for people, right? And I'm talking about, like, I once, like, worked on an art thing for them where I was working around the clock up until the day of my kid's graduation from high school. So I basically was covered in paint, came home, hopped in the shower, and then went to go to my kid's graduation. And I told her, I go, just because my kid's leaving the school doesn't mean you can't ask me for help. So she asked me if I could donate my time to do a set backdrop for her for something she's working on, a show she's putting on. And I said, yeah, I'll take care of that for you. When do you need it by? She said, as soon as possible. And I whipped it out and got that painting done, 48-hour turnaround. I just sat down and I made a digital set painting for her. And then Mrs. Enjetti got it all set for Illustrated. Like, that's something that happened last week. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Got to share very little or nothing at all. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like Darth Gutierrez. You know what I'm talking about, man. The energy makes the difference, guys. It really does. And is anybody gonna, like, ever see that? No. It's not gonna be on some huge production. But, to quote Kevin Costner, one of my favorite quotes from him on Inside the Actors Studio, that's not the God I pray to, man. That's not the God I pray to. And, when you read Nosfero and you read Springball, it's one person doing it. I'm the artist, I'm the colorist, I'm, like, doing all this stuff, the painter, and there's a lot of folks in Comicsgate who that's the case. And I'm also shipping all the dang books out. And you gotta look at my optimism, my passion for the work, my discipline, and I want it to be storytelling that's aspirational and leaves you in a better place than you were, and leaves you feeling inspired and fascinated. And even when I was on that trip with my wife to Mystic, we went into this haunted bookstore or whatever, and we were looking at all the attention to detail in this store to make it look like this was this old, like almost like a Harry Potter, magic bookstore or something when you went into it. And I thought, I was just like, someone really put love into this, and I'm inspired. It's creative. I want to go home and think about, should I come up with something better for, what's behind me when I do these streams? Like, I was all amped, man. I was ready to rock and roll on that stuff. Antoine, I like to donate my my time as well to the I knew Antoine, Professor, I knew where it was going to go, man. I knew where it was going to go. Let's see here. What does she read? Oh my gosh. All kinds of things. I can't get into specifics because my wife won't let me do it. But yeah, amen indeed. Darth Gutierrez, absolutely, man. Yeah, you gotta do this kind of stuff. You can have a huge impact. And speaking of character design, I don't even think I finished this story. So I was teaching at one of the most prominent art schools in the country, or what was one of the most prominent schools in the country. And when I was teaching their character design class, it was waitlisted like crazy. My classes were the most full. They were like C.S. Lewis's classes, for God's sake, at Oxford. You know what I mean? Like, his classes were just always packed, always in demand, and they never made him full time. It's just one of those petty, obnoxious things that happen in academia, right? And I learned recently, just the other day, that this class, when I left teaching there, they left my name on the class for a semester, and I said, some students are asking me if I'm going to be teaching this class. You guys know I'm not teaching anymore. And they go, yeah, we didn't update your name, but we figured it was going to fill anyway. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, really? Is that what you think? So this class that was like 20 students full with a 25-person wait list has only 8 students in it now. And they can't fill the class, and they keep having to switch teacher after teacher after teacher. Because you're either good or you're not. And if you're a great teacher and you're an inspirational teacher, you can't replace that. And unfortunately, when people let their pettiness get in the way of... sometimes I sit here and I'm like, these people were idiots. I've done, concept art for DreamWorks Consumer Products. I've done all of this amazing stuff, and I've lectured at, like, MIT's Gambit Game Studio, Microsoft Games. They flew me up from San Francisco to talk about character design at Microsoft Games. it's just nuts. I've also lectured at Hasbro, God Almighty, like so many different places, and Turbine had me do, I think, which is now Warner Brothers Games studio, had me do a 6-week workshop with their art team after work. These poor guys, the video game industry, how intense it is, and these guys were staying after work, for God's sake, to learn stuff. And they've all gone and done different things, but it's amazing the kind of it's not easy to gain experience and ability doing these kinds of things, man. Yeah, well, of course, and it's true everywhere. The joke about academia is, in academia the battles are so fierce because the stakes are so low. Which I think is true, man. It's absolutely true. You see that everywhere, man. You see that everywhere. So I never in academia found people, anyone who was kind of comparable in terms of investing his time to move my work forward and to move Springball forward as what John did for me on the launch of Springballer. And even, the opportunities I've gotten from Ethan and opportunities I've gotten from so many people. If I start listing names, I'm going to leave somebody out and I'm going to be annoyed with myself. Hang on a second. I gotta blow my nose. Let me play the trailer for Pigman one more time, because that'll give me a chance to blow my nose. So here you guys go. The recently completed Pigman trailer I did. Let's take another look at it. There you go, guys. So yes, make sure you check out Pigman. And yeah, that was a Bosch. That was a hell of a launch, man. That was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun. Of course, brother. It's true. And yeah, you know what? They play fast and loose with that stuff. I mean, it's legal, but it's really funny. I remember when I left that school. It was obviously, I've left both of my teaching jobs on my own terms. And everybody was just shocked. Like, can you do this? Because nobody leaves RISD. Like, they just don't. Because it's just like, this is like, I'm at RISD or whatever. And it's like watching a girl who thinks too highly of herself get dumped. They're like, but why? And I'm like, well, because you guys aren't taking care of me and my family, and I'm out of here. Like, that's it, And it's just kind of the way you got to do these things, man. But it's one of the fun things about that was, because there's the story of the characters, the pigskin leather thing. I did a lot of stuff with the logo of Pigman, and then of course with the Fun My Comic thing, where I really wanted to make it look like it was on pigskin leather, and leather in general. It was and there's something kind of interesting about this, and I don't know if this was intentional or if this was something that just kind of happened. But when it comes to Pigman, I was thinking there's nothing more. Funny enough, there's nothing more American than throwing around the pigskin. So when I first Googled pigskin, I was looking for texture. It said nothing came up but football. Like, it was just like all these details of like footballs, and I just laughed my head off. And I just thought, wow, isn't that kind of funny? Like it's such an American thing. It's such an American term. It's the American sport. It's crazy. Yeah, English is hard. I blame England. Yeah, I was talking to my wife today about rain, and thought, how do you have a word that is the same sound, these homonyms, and it means three different things? I mean, it's just, it's frustrating, like rein it in. The reign of the king, and it's raining outside, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong, man? It's difficult. Sometimes I will find myself so tired that I will write something wrong, like and it's like I wrote no N-O for no K-N-O-W the other day, and I'm like, Is this it? Is this when my brain finally is giving up the ghost, so to speak? It's such a funny thing. Yeah, do. Absolutely right, Bruce Campbell's chin. It is madness. It's madness. Absolute madness. What are you going to do? What can you do? All right, let me see here. Let me move. See if I move. I don't want to move it over too much, but I want to make sure you guys get a chance to see that right there. Yeah, I mean, my wife just goes, fire up your camera and do some sketching. That's what you got to do. And I know I mentioned this before, guys, but I'm a little like, so how do I word this? Okay. So, someone in my house, one of the little people of Stonehenge, but they're not so little anymore. It was a fan of Anna, that Star Wars girl, right? Darth Gutierrez, right? What the hell, Seriously, it's tough. It's very, very tough. Oh God, yeah. Read, read. It goes on all day. Like it's just, it's madness. Yeah, the big people of Stonehenge. Yeah, that's what I have to say now. He's a fan of Anna's, and of course, as a fellow painter, Anna, that Star Wars girl, is. I think I've been on a stream with her, and we've painted, and we've worked on paint stuff. But I've really watched her work grow. Tammy, it's always so good to see you, Tammy. I wasn't sure if you were still here. It's great to see you. I've watched her work grow, and I'm really glad that she is doing her first art book. And if you haven't backed it yet, Anna's got a book right now out there, which is a collection of the eyes that she's painting. And I want to see if I can find it. Hang on a second, guys. Yeah, she's outstanding at it. She's really great. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I got it. Hang on a second here. Okay, great. It just went to my campaign contribution, and it didn't go to the project. Where the heck is it? Oh, back. Okay, let's see if this works. There we go. And it's got a 5,000 goal. It's got a dollar goal. It's got 23 days to go, but it's only got 32 backers. And it is not, for what it is, it's going to be a beautiful cloth-bound art book. It is not that expensive, and she has attention to detail like crazy. So let me put this in the chat, and hopefully you guys will be able to click this link. Actually, you know what? I think I have to do it in here. Hang on a second, guys. Bear with me. This is important. So do not run. Bear with me. So this right here is the Eye Project, and it's going to be a really cool little book. So if you want to have like cool kind of interesting stuff in your house, it would be a great addition to your library. So let me get this done here. There you go. So there is Anna's project right there. So if you'd be so kind as to check it out, I would appreciate it. I'm very happy for her, that she's doing her first art book, and I think it would be great if we all helped. I mean, only 32 backers. I'm backer number 9, so I've backed the project. I want to see that project move. I want to have her on the show, and I hope I'm sure they're promoting it a little bit on the Jack Show, which is great. But I think it's really great work. And if you're the kind of person like me who likes cabinets of curiosity and things like that, it really is a cool book, to have in your cabinet of curiosity. Like I know this may sound odd, it's not the intent, but people who had those cabinets of curiosity, they really did have just cool, quirky, sort of interesting things and obscure things. And I think it'll be a very cool, thing. Yeah, she's incredibly talented. It'll be a really cool addition to your library, I guarantee it. And it's not going to be a huge book. It's going to be the scale of the paintings. So it's not like you're going to be, having to put this giant book in your house. And they're really nice. They're really well done. And I'm sure she's going to pay incredible detail and incredible attention to the print of the book. So yeah, if you have not yet backed that book, please do. Where did I put Inglorious Rex? Oh, there we go. I'm like, I need reference for this character. I forgot what color I was gonna do here. Even though I'm taking a lot of liberties with it, but there's certain things that I want to make sure I keep. And this monster is really cool because it's just yeah, it's a giant beast. And it's got these it's sort of lit from within, which is a very tricky thing to paint. It's a very tricky thing to paint. So this is where I'm going to need to just do a little bit of light erasing here. And I think I forget who was asking me about this. How I do this. Who was it who asked the question if I erase? And if I do erasing. I remember who it was. Hold on a second here. Who was it? Oh, it was a silent spirit, I think, who asked me that. If I run an eraser over it. Hopefully, hey, what's up, Willie D? How are you doing? Yeah, man. Those are great. If you have not backed it yet, guys, please do. Willie D, it's great to see you, my friend. I love the smiley face with the mankind mask on it, man. That's awesome. Because, it's not only am I excited about the art book, and I'm excited to get my own copy. And by the way, Anna has backed SPRINGBALL. She's backed Nosfero. She backed the first Nosfero campaign at the highest tier. She's been a big supporter of my books, and I really appreciate her. And she was a big supporter of everybody's books who comes into this space. And one of those people who is the real deal, loves Star Wars, loves Star Trek, which are two big things in my household. But more importantly, she was trained, as an oil painter and a painter, and she's doing some really great work. And I think if there's one thing I love that we do in Comicsgate, it's and here, and it's, by the way, and it's a tough thing to pitch something new like that into to your audience. I just think we can do better than the amount of backers she has right now, for sure. And the book deserves it. The book merits it. What are we at right now? We're at, the Eye Project is at 32 backers. Can we move that? Yeah, oh yeah. Anna's drawings are fantastic, John. Love Anna's drawings. Yeah, she does great work. She's really great at representational stuff. For me personally, I prefer her paintings, but she's 60% of her funding goal, and she has worked her ass off, doing this work. This is important work, and in the sense of watching an artist improve, there's no way you can explain how artists improve more than you can. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. No. It's I just was trying to make sure I remembered. So I just did the erasing step of it, a silent spirit. But guys, we're looking at 32 backers on this. Can we get this to 35 backers? It's got 23 days left. It is shy of its $5,000 flexible goal. I'd really like to see this book. And the fact that she put together a campaign, she's a new mom. I had the chance, she showed us her baby after one of the stream, and I just was like, I said to my wife and my daughter, I go, if you guys had seen this, you'd have gone crazy. Because my wife is just, my wife and daughter are both baby crazy individuals. And I loved, I'm still a dad, but I loved when my little people were there. John, thank you for dropping the link to the Eye Project in the chat, guys. Go check it out. We should be able to get this to 35 backers. All I need is 3 of you guys to go and back this book. Back SPRINGBALL and Nosfero too, but since most of you guys probably did that anyway, if you haven't, please back them. But let's do some rallying for Anna's Eye Project. If 3 of you backed it, it would just move things so much. It would get to 35, and then we're talking about 40, which is important. Let's see. No, they're not home for spring break yet. No, they had their breaks, and now I think it's just they finish it out because college ends early, and I cannot wait for them to come home and to see them. I love those little guys, man. Those big guys, those big adult guys as they are. But hold on a second. I'm gonna grab a book because we're on this subject. So what was it? On that show Mike Myers used to do on SNL, talk amongst yourselves. All right, I'll be right back. Hang on. I am going to die in a book avalanche. I just want you all to know that. If If you hear a loud crash, remember me fondly. Books just landed on me, and that was that. Let's see if I don't know if I can find the other one. It's not there. Sometimes I wonder if I gave one of these books to a student or something like that. It would not shock me, but at least this one will get us there. This one will get us there. All right. Oh, my stars. Let's see. I'm verklempt. See, you know. It was coffee talk. Damn, he's got it. Yeah, well, I'm screaming. Yeah. Oh, right. So, guys, if you're not familiar with this book, this was one of my favorite books I got a little while back. This is Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities book. And one of the things about this book that makes me think of Anna and her book and really kind of cultivating, an inspirational art collection when it comes to books. Let me see if I can get that sized right. There we go. Is this book. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this before. Has anybody in the chat seen this book before? But Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities talks about the history of Cabinets of Curiosities, shows photos of his own home with a secret bookshelf and all of this stuff. Yes, Dan Lawless has a variant cover. That's right. Is this for... Silence Do... Oh, that's right. God, Dan is doing some killer work. Killer work. Yes, guys, check that out. Let me see here. There we go. And so you'll see interesting examples of art, and then this contains some of his sketches from his movies, and this is his sketchbook right here. But what I always say is interesting about, Cabinets of Curiosities is that it's always about creating a little space that inspires you and that has things that, what did Guillermo del Toro say about his home? He goes, the lifeblood of imagination is curiosity. And the things that are aesthetic around you that are designed to kind of wake you up. So aesthetic and things that are art should wake you up. Things that are the opposite of aesthetic are anesthetic. A lot of people don't put that together. So anesthetic is something that puts you to sleep. And so when I see Anna's iBook, the thing that's exciting to me is I think it will fit in really great in my little cabinet of curiosities that I have here, which is my studio. And I'm actually going to try to clean this place up because I want to give you guys tours of my workspace. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But you can see things like automatons. He has set props. He has original artwork by Richard Corbin and things like that here. I mean, this guy, his house is just absolutely incredible. And then these are little glimpses, right? So there's a model kit from the Time Machine. There's some Cthulhu stuff. And it says, the shelf in the art room at Bleak House where the encyclopedias Del Toro read as a child are kept. So little things like that, man. Anesthetic. That's... No, Antoine. Behave. So let's see. Are we moving Anna's campaign any? Has anybody backed it in the chat? Nope, we're still at 32 backers on it. Can we get to 33 while I'm flipping through this book, guys? If you have not yet backed Anna's iBook, there's 32 backers. There's no way we don't have 3 people here who haven't backed it. Now, I know, that I'm not telling you guys what to do with your money, but if you want to have some really cool art in your house, back that book and let me know. And I will make sure you get some cheerleaders on this stream because you know how we do things. When I get a super chat or anything else, I'll have some cheerleaders on screen. And if we can move that campaign a little bit, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. And let me say this too. I know Anna's doing the Jack show right now. But I was out of town just trying to get a little bit of some downtime, which I'm not really good at. And when I was out of town, Ethan pulled up my campaign, and the Kings were really supportive, and they were just like, yeah, let's go, let's get some backers. I woke up the next day, and we were stuck at 297 backers, and I was trying to hit 300. And I woke up the next day, and I had 302 backers, and I go, I bet you anything they showed somebody helped me when I wasn't looking. Somebody helped me when I wasn't even thinking about it. And that's what I love. And it would be great for me if we could get some eyes on Anna's campaign because she's backed every single book and every single project I've done to the maximum amount. So yeah, this is a painting of what, you know, the Cabinets of Curiosities were about. It was about kind of creating these cool, you know, kind of gothic spaces. This is what Del Toro's sketchbooks look like, and there were some on exhibit at his the exhibition he had, which I think I can show, actually, come to think of it, because I have that. Oh, maybe I should... Oh, that would be a cool thing to do. Yeah, that would be a really cool thing to do. Oh, yeah, here you go. Here is a room that's filled with all of the comic book stuff that Del Toro has in his house that people come and work in. Look at how cool that is, man. You've got some... Oh, let me see if I can adjust this here so it doesn't get a glare. You've got some kaiju, you've got some anatomy figures there, and then you've got just a bunch of comic books, guys. To the ceiling. Little Bram Stoker's Dracula, some original artwork. He owns every single Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein image. Oh, here's the entrance. Here's the entrance to his house, to his bleak house. That's a gigantic Mike Hill, Boris Karloff Frankenstein. So that's the balcony on the second floor. Here are the sofas. This is what creating an inspiring library around you is all about. You know, and so, yeah, here's his life-sized H.P. Lovecraft by an artist named, I think his name is Kubler, or Kubler. I can't remember what his name is. What is it right here? It says, Thomas Kubler. He does photorealistic sculptures, and that is his thing. Yeah, that monster statue is from Hellboy 1, and that's a life-size version of it, but I have a smaller version of it over there that Sideshow Collectibles put out. I got it because I'm like, I want to have a little bit of that Guillermo del Toro Bleak House feel. That's what this room is going to be. I told my wife, she has friends at her job who work and do, build, who can build. They teach all the building classes. 100%. Actually, they did. Conan O'Brien sent Andy Richter to his house and did a walking tour of it, and it's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, it's crazy stuff. So he has a haunted mansion room. Oh, by the way, speaking of eyes, you know how I was talking about Anna's eye book before? Like, that's the kind of stuff that you would see in these cool places. So this is his haunted mansion room that has the same wallpaper as the haunted mansion. And it's it has a secret sliding book shelf door to get into it. And that's what I want to do in my studio space. And my wife has some friends who would be able to do that. But look at this. He has a life-size statue of Greek-American makeup artist Jack Pierce, who did the makeup designs for the Wolfman and Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. And he has a life-sized of him applying the makeup to Boris Karloff. And behind him, he has an original Basil Gogos Frankenstein painting. You look at how cool this is. What's up, J-Bot? How are you doing? Yo, my friend. It is great to see you. Hail, brother. So we were just talking about a book that I want people to try to check out and back. Let me know in the chat if you back it. But Anna, that Star Wars girl, has her first art book out. It is not funded yet. Only 32 backers on it. And I'd love to see if we could move that book. I know we don't have a huge audience here, but I think we have a very, very, passionate audience here. And a very motivated audience here. So if anybody has not backed it yet who has a desire to support an artist who has supported so many creators here, do check it out. I'm going to post the link right now in the chat. Hopefully that will come through. Do go there and check out Anna, that Star Wars girl eye project. So yeah, so this is his monster room, and it has screens in it where it's raining out the window all day long. So 24 hours a day in there. There's thunder and lightning. It's almost like the Enchanted Tiki Room at Disney World. And so, yeah, here's what his library looks like. Again, interesting books, more life-size statues. The Hellboy gun. Here's his Curse of the Werewolf figure. And that's in, I guess, a steampunk room, he says. But I don't know if it's still that kind of room. But let me see if I can find. Yeah. There's the original Drew Struzan Hellboy poster from the first Hellboy movie, which he owns. Really great stuff. Really great stuff. And yeah, look at that wall. There's an original H.R. Geiger there, which is so cool, or Giger. I can't remember. He pronounces it in a very strange way. I saw an interview where he was talking about it, and I thought it was really, really cool how he did that stuff. So, original artwork. There's the originals from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think he owns a ton of those. So I got to see the originals when they did the exhibition of his Bleak House in Toronto. And I was like, these are the originals from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. These are some of the most iconic and terrifying children's illustrations. And then here are some of the action figures, which I actually have over there from Hellboy and the Golden Army and the original Hellboy movie. These are just amazing figures and great designs, too. There's Nightmare Before Christmas, because, man, did Tim Burton inspire a lot of people with that movie, man. A lot of people. There's Guillermo del Toro as a kid making his first movie, his first monster movie with those little plastic eyes. I don't know if you guys remember those. But yeah, it's all about imagination. And the lifeblood of imagination is curiosity, as he said so well. So if I could give anybody any advice, like if you want to invest in something that's going to inspire you, invest in art books, creative books, stories you loved as a kid, get a really great edition of it. And you know, back the stuff, like when you see the stuff that I do, and I don't even know, do I even have a copy of it nearby me here? I usually do, but I have such an avalanche of books right now, man. It's bad, guys. It's bad. That's all I'm going to say. I am in a bit of a predicament here in terms of my book collection. It is quickly consuming. Where is it? Do I have a single copy of my own book here? Jeez Louise. Oh, man. What a mess. It's because, you know, it's because I'm so passionate about what we do here that I where the heck is it? I don't care how long this takes. I refuse to believe that I don't have a copy of my own book here. Here we go. There it is. So, guys, when I make a book, yeah, it's always this way. Okay, John, fine, you caught me. You caught me. And let me know in the chat if you guys back Anna's book, by the way. So this right here, this is, God, I got to get a better angle on this. This is Nosfero the Crypt Walker. This is my square-bound, glossy, beautiful, fully painted book, and this is what it's about. And like here you can see a book where I wasn't happy with how the sketch started. And so I just redid it. But this was one of the head sketch books that didn't make it out there. But this is the book. This is what it's about. Everything I make, and the Nosfero Second Chance campaign and Art Only campaign is in the description. But this is what it's about. It's about throwing yourself into your work and making something that is handmade, hand-packed, hand-shipped to you guys, hand-signed, every single copy of this book. And I know that the Anna's going to be the exact same way when she's doing her book. She is hand-painted in oil, 100 eyes of anybody can submit their eye to the eye project. If you take a nice photo of your eye, she will do a painting of it. So in a lot of ways, you're getting 100 portraits of people you know from the chat. I think in book 1, Cecil is one of the eyes in book 1. So if you didn't know that, it's really cool. It's a really great project. If eyes are the window to the soul, then that's what this book is, a collection of 100 windows to the soul. And that's what's so fun about it. And she's painted 200 eyes. That's right. And she's going to do, she said she thinks she's going to stop at 300. She's over 200. Volume 1 is going to be 100 eyes. And as a painter, believe me when I tell you that Anna can paint. And again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'll use it for this purpose. Okay, I'll use it for this purpose. I taught at the time at what many consider to be the Harvard of art schools, Rhode Island School of Design. In the illustration department, I was the teacher with the highest wait list and the most in demand for all of the 15 years I taught there. I've looked at a lot of work. I've looked at people whose work has affected and impacted your lives. People who designed the characters for Guitar Hero, BioShock Infinite. These are people who are former students of mine. Students of mine in character design who designed characters that you know and you have seen everywhere. And it's one of those things to where I know work when I see it. I know good work when I see it. And what Anna does is great work. and she's going to get better and better in my personal opinion. I don't think she's even got the tip of the iceberg. But if this first project of her paintings receives our support, I think it's a great push of an already driven artist. You know, an already driven artist who's been here and who has supported independent work, to get that you know, that little push that there's excitement here for that creativity and artwork. And you guys have already proven it to me. You guys have proven that to me. You know, in here you guys have done that, because a fully painted comic book I would have thought was insane. You guys know this, right? I've never done a painted comic book before in Nosfero, and I chose to do it here in Comicsgate in a crowdfunding space. And this audience was so amazing that not only did they back it the first time around, but you guys have backed it a second time around. You know, and if you haven't backed it yet, grab it, because it's going to be the current editions of the book are not looking to have a huge print run. So they're going to be, I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time getting a hold of those. But look at this. This is fan-made, fan-funded, man. Absolutely. Let me tell you something, Darth. Thank you for being here, Darth Gutierrez. I appreciate it. I will, my friend. And you have a good one too, Darth Gutierrez. And you take care, brother. Yeah, I love this stuff. It's so fun, man. It's so fun. You know? And sleep well, Darth Gutierrez. Sleep well, brother. So yeah, guys, if you have not backed this, I've already backed it. I'm backer number 9 on Anna's book. But like, Comicsgate was home for me with this book. You know, that's what made it possible. And I absolutely could not be more excited to be working with. That was a very well-timed placement of my hand when I turned that page. But that's the stuff that I get to do here. You know, that is the fun aspect of what I do here. You know, is paintings. And I think Tammy has this book, right? I know you've got a copy of this book, Tammy. And it's great to have you here. Thank you, Tammy. You do plenty, Tammy. You're great. You do so much, Tammy. Don't ever worry about it. I wanted to make sure I took some time to talk about this book, because I talk about her book and talk about the stuff we're doing here, because we are making some really killer and cool stuff in this space, man. And it's great. I'm so glad Mark's got this book finally. That's what I'm really excited about too, because so many of you guys, you know, who missed out on this stuff, it's like it's frustrating. I cannot wait to get the second printing of this book out. Like, look at this stuff, man. Look at what we were able to do here. What you guys helped to fund. Never in a million years. This is the best stuff I've ever done painting wise, is right here in this book. And that's what's so fun. Yeah, I know maybe Mark is busy and he's swamped, man. I'm so glad he got that book. When I saw that post on X, I was thrilled. Absolutely thrilled by that. So yeah, guys, you guys just keep the lights on for us and keep pushing this stuff, because we're doing some killer work here. We're doing some really killer work here. All right, guys. So I think I'm at about 2 hours. Thank you guys for hanging out. I know it was an impromptu stream and it was an art stream, but I needed to stream. I haven't seen you guys or done a stream in a while. I updated the channel member credits list, so if you have become a channel member since my last stream, your name is going to be in there if you're catching this later. And if you're catching this later, thank you for all of your support. Go check out Anna, That Star Wars Girl's painted book. I've backed it. I'm backer number 9. So let's see if we can get that book moving. Tell anybody you know who might be interested in a really cool art book. Yes, I know. I've got to find movies, Tammy. I've got to find movies for Pizza Live. I was looking all day today because I want to find some good stuff. I know at some point we're going to repeat movies, you know, and just have fun time. Like, it's like our annual, like, we watch this movie. But it's so tricky, and I don't want to mess with YouTube, you know, because there's all these rules that are just ridiculous. But yeah, I think I don't know what we're gonna do for our next movie. I may even do. I've come close to saying I think I'm gonna do Night of the Living Dead again, you know, or one of those movies, because we haven't. You know, there's some movies I think it'd be fun to go back to and check out. Some of the oldies but goodies, but we'll see. We're gonna figure it out. I'm doing everything I can to figure that stuff out because I miss it, man. It's so much fun to do. So thank you guys so much for being here. John, thank you for dropping the link to Anna's Painted Eye project. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I love that movie too. Just a great independent movie, you know, from Steel City, you know, right out of Pittsburgh. I love that stuff, man. Shanth, maybe you could do the thumbnail screen cap method. Yeah, I might do that. It's so fun to watch movies with you guys. Do you know what I mean? Haven't jumped on your stream in a while. Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Spaceman. I appreciate it. Love your streams. The Old Dark House is great. Man, that was a fun one. I loved doing the Old Dark House. That was absolutely fun. Pizza Live, damn spell check. I know what you mean, Tammy. You're all good here. So everybody, thank you so much from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Shanth Enjeti. You've been watching Shanth Enjeti Art. And as always, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you. Give nihilism no quarter, and don't accept any. All right, my friends, take care. I will see you guys soon. And here are the channel member credits. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, John. Thank you, Spaceman. All of you guys have been great. Thank you, Alpha Channel. Let's see who I've got here in the chat. I got a bunch of people back here. I want to make sure. Thank you, Darth Gutierrez. And everybody who was here today. J-Bot, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, Headless Bourgeoisie. It was great seeing all of you guys here. John, Willie D, Bruce Campbell's Chin. All of you guys have been great, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting this channel. All my channel members. Thank you, Antoine Dennison. You know, you guys make things great. And my brother Bosch, take care, brother. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. I will see all of you guys very, very soon. And take care, and thank you, A Silent Spirit. I hope that was helpful information about the painting. And here you go. Here are the channel member credits. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care. I'm back. I forgot to wish all of you a happy Easter, hopefully a happy Passover and everything else that I've missed. I can't believe I forgot to say that. So everyone have a happy Easter this Sunday. Thank you so much and take care. Back to the credits. Take care, guys.